And of course, here in the studio, we have with us former member of the House of Representatives, Oghene Egoh, joins us live in the studio. Good to have you. Good evening.
Thank you. Happy to be around again.
All right. I'm sure you've been following the developments in Osun State.
Very well.
How is the assessment for you, especially as it concerns deployment of election materials and, of course, security and generally every other thing?
Yeah. Well, I want to say congratulations to Adeleke. He's done very well. A lot of people thought that he could only dance and he cannot perform. But from what has happened, other governors will learn that the magic in winning election is by working hard, not by rigging the election. So Adeleke is a major victor in this election. But the number two victor, number two man that I need to praise very well is Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president of the country. A lot of people thought that Tinubu was going to rig the election and that Tinubu was going to ask INEC to change the result. He was bringing the security, the heavy security to the state to make sure that Adeleke does not win the election. But I must confess that I'm very surprised at what Tinubu did. It shows us clearly that the man is a real Democrat. You can imagine the results came out. Even before INEC announced it, he had called Adeleke to congratulate him. So that will tell INEC, don't do any manipulation. Mr. President is already aware Adeleke won and has congratulated Adeleke. This again shows me that 2027 will be very good. Those who are afraid that Tinubu is going to rig election in 2027, have a rethink. The man is a Democrat. He's not going to rig election in 2027. But I believe he will win the election in 2027. By reading on
so many persons have pointed to several other issues regarding this election, the build up to this 2027 elections.
Yes.
Because it's one state. And in 2027 it will be multiple states.
Yes.
For the presidential and even the states that is in February. So so many persons are actually saying that it's one state, well, you can't really give them a pass mark that much until we have all of the states covered. But I'll come back to you. Let me just join, let me just get in virtually someone from the Akor Oche virtually this evening. Let me say, Akor Oche, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening.
Okay, Akor, I'm sure you also witnessed this election. So many persons are giving INEC a pass mark, and even the president, just like we have in the studio, passing the president with the fact that he is a Democrat. What's your first observation given the situation in Osun State?
Yes, I want to disagree with the man in the studio for giving credit to the Bola Ahmed Tinubu for having provided security for the elections by mobilizing team of security agents, police, military to the elections. Because if you saw in the video, there were policemen who were found and involved in the snatching of ballot box. The video went viral. And for anybody coming to the studio to now be praising such security arrangements is uncalled for. I found it embarrassing. Going straight to assessment of the elections, generally, it is the persistence, the resilience of the people of Osun State that made the difference. Otherwise, that election would have been rigged by APC. You saw what happened. You saw how ballot box was being snatched. You saw how distribution of mint currencies, the Naira notes, the new Naira note that the average Nigerians have no access to, were somehow dished out from the CBN and distributed to the people of Osun State, where you have individual voter parting with 50,000 naira, 20,000 naira. And the evidence is all over. It's there. You can verify if what I'm saying is otherwise. But there was massive vote buying in Osun State. But the joy is that the people of Osun State, they were able to resist.
Oche, we would just stay on the line. All right. You react. I'm sure that you're itching to say something. But Mercy Babajide, our correspondent, is standing by from Osogbo, the Osun State capital. Mercy, thank you for joining. If you can hear me, just give us an update on what's going on where you are. We understand that the APC in Osun State APC is looking at, trying to see if they can find some means, because they are saying they're reviewing 332 results out of the wards, 332 locations of this particular election results. I'm wondering whether you think that they might be going to the court, even though the presidents have actually congratulated the governor.
Okay, hello there to you, Charles. We are in front of the APC Secretariat in Osogbo, where we were just harassed about 3 minutes ago and were asked to leave for some reasons unknown to us. And we kept on saying this is a public space, just for us to use this as a background, of course, telling the story about APC. And they kept on saying, oh, we should leave. But then this is what it looks like in the APC Secretariat. And of course, despite the fact that the president, that's Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has congratulated the re-elected governor, that's in person of Governor Ademola Adeleke, the APC is still refuting the election results, but we cannot categorically tell you what's next for now, because the last we heard of them, they said they are rejecting this result. But we tried earlier on to reach out to either their spokesperson or their chairman. We've not gotten any feedback from them. So this is the best we can do right now. So of course, we came here to say, let's take a look at what is happening here. But then we came here to find an empty building, apart from the stall of the woman who is selling food behind me, which of course they tried harassing us earlier on. But then we stood our ground and insisted that this is a public space and we should be able to, of course, make our videos anywhere.
But Mercy, what are the people telling you beyond the political, interactions? What are the people specifically telling you about the elections, the processes, and of course the victory of Adeleke?
Okay, earlier this afternoon, or rather this evening, we were at the Osun State Secretariat, where we saw mammoth of crowd, I mean lots and lots of crowds, where they were jubilating and celebrating the re-election of Governor Ademola Adeleke. Let's take it back a bit, where we saw that earlier last week, we saw them go on a rally stating that the 20,000 naira Governor Ademola Adeleke paid them was for palliative, and they said INEC should not force anything down their throats and they should be allowed to, of course, air their voice. And then as opposed to that, today we saw them jubilating that yes, their votes did count, despite the fact that the All Progressive Congress was alleged to pay 50,000 naira to each person. But then we saw videos making rounds where people said, despite the fact that they collected the money from a certain party, they still voted for another party. So it's been jubilations and celebrations around town in Osun State.
Mercy Babajide, so sorry about the harassment. I mean, this is really bad coming from the APC, like you mentioned, but I'm sure that you are safe where you are. Many thanks, Mercy, for your reporting. We truly appreciate you.